Fish keeping is a great hobby. It gives us something to be passionate about and also gives us a great sense of pride when we show off our beautiful fish to our family and friends. When our aquarium water isn't clear, whether it's cloudy, colorful, or simply has floating debris in it, it's hard for us to find peace of mind when we look at our tank. Hi, I'm Rochelle from Quebec CICHLID. Today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to get crystal clear water in your aquarium, so stay tuned. Before we get started, if you haven't done it already, click that subscribe button. I've been making fish keeping videos for years, and there are plenty more to come, so make sure not to miss a single video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rochelle, and I own a local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec, that is right outside of Montreal. And something that many people notice when they come in, and oh yes, I am bragging here, is that my water is crystal clear in all of my aquariums. So obviously I get asked a lot how I keep my water crystal clear. Well, it's a lot easier than you'd expect. The key is good filtration. Let me elaborate. Good filtration is crucial if you want crystal clear water. But what does good filtration actually mean? So good filtration means two things. First and foremost, a good filter is one that has enough biomedia in it, I'm going to get back to that later, that all the beneficial bacteria that sustains life in your aquarium is able to go on it, attach itself, and make the environment healthy for your fish. It also means, in the case of this video, that you have the right media in it that catches the debris and clarifies your water. We're obviously going to look at all of this. So first of all, let's start off with the beneficial bacteria. Your biological load, or bioload for short, is everything, all the waste in your aquarium, your fish waste, extra food, dead plants, you name it. The more you have, the more bioload you have. If your filter isn't powerful enough, your bioload will disintegrate and become ammonia. And if you don't have enough filtration, the ammonia is just going to remain in your tank. So it creates an inhospitable environment and your water will not be clear. Your water also will be cloudy, white cloudy, because there is not enough place for the bacteria to go in your filter. So it'll be sort of swimming around in the aquarium. While it's doing that, your water is not good for fish. And it's not nice, because that's what we're looking at, it's the aesthetics. So the biomedia that will usually sustain all this life is in form of ceramics. You can get pretty much every single brand has their brand of ceramics. Don't get the big plastic balls. Those are usually insufficient for aquariums. They're mostly made for ponds. So once you have enough ceramics in your filter and that your filter is made to make the water go through these ceramics with the right flow and everything, that the bacteria will go on the ceramics, the bacteria that you're helping proliferate, it will transform all that ammonia into nitrite, also toxic for fish, and then there are more bacteria that will get installed and into nitrate. That is called the nitrogen cycle. I have a whole video about this where I really go into detail, but that's the gist of it. So healthy nitrogen cycle, healthy bacteria means your aquarium will not be cloudy. So how much ceramics and biomedia should you put in your filter? In my hang-on back filters that are made to have a cartridge of biomedia, I will put as much as possible without it overloading. In my canister filters, every single basket that I can fill in my canister filter, I will fill with these ceramics. If you've tried this and you still have cloudy white aquarium water, I made a whole video about this and I really go into a lot of details with everything that it can be. So definitely go check that out after you're done with this video. Yes, there are some filter brands that are better than others for sustaining life in the aquarium. Canister filters, for the most part, I wouldn't worry too much about those. I would encourage you, though, to buy them at your local fish store or your local pet store instead of online from overseas sellers. Obviously, these days it's hard to get anything from overseas. 2020 has been a confusing year for that. But let's say you're watching this in the future and everything's settled, well, still I would encourage you to buy locally, as it's because of parts. Basically, when you have a filter that your pet store sells, they usually have access to parts. So if ever something breaks on your filter, well, you just go to your local fish store and they will sell you the part that you need. Whereas if you bought it on an overseas seller, sometimes these parts are hard to find, and when you do find them, well, the shipping can be very long. And now in March 2020, while I'm filming this video, shipping can be, well, we don't know what's happening with shipping. We'll see what the future holds. So that's for canister filters. Now for hang-on back filters, there is a little trick, a rule of thumb that will really help you out. If your filter is, like, let's say I'm using the AquaClear filters. The cartridges that are in the filter are usually there for many months, even years, and you don't have to change them. You just rinse them once in a while. I have a whole video about how to properly rinse your filtered cartridges, so go check that out if ever you're wondering about this. But anyways, you just rinse them off, you don't change them every time. A bad filter would be a filter that only relies on changing cartridges. First of all, that's bad for the environment. Second of all, it's bad for your fish environment as well. Because when you take out your cartridge, throw it out, you're throwing out all the beneficial bacteria. Those bacteria that transform ammonia into nitrate, well, you don't have them anymore and you're starting anew, meaning you'll always have ammonia spikes in your aquarium. I know these companies try to sell you bacteria enhancers to just put bacteria back in once you've thrown it out, but it's not efficient or safe for your fish. So often people who use filters that are 100% cartridge, well, they have trouble keeping the water clear because it's always cloudy, because there's always ammonia and bacteria bloom in their aquarium. Don't worry, I was not sponsored by any of these brands that I am mentioning. It's just companies that I've been using for years and that I know and love. So now you have a good filter with biomedia in it, and you have debris sort of floating around in your water. If the debris are from your substrate that you didn't clean well, usually using water clarifiers will help. This is the only time you should use water clarifiers. They will precipitate the dust and make your water clear. It's a good temporary solution. In the long term, though, you're going to want to really siphon your substrate well to get all the dust out. If you have just other floating debris, you can use mechanical filtration. That's a fancy word for foam. So foam comes in all different shapes and sizes. Usually the foam that comes with an AquaClear is enough just like that to pick out all the debris. But if you need something more, you can use what is called a poly filter, which is a compact white foam. This is obviously not a staple filtration for your beneficial bacteria. It helps get rid of the debris, helps keep your water clear. You have to change this every 2 weeks to a month. So this is why I tell you to have other things in your filter rather than just poly filter. After 2 weeks to a month, yes, you can rinse it out, but eventually it gets compacted and the water doesn't flow through it as easily as it did in the beginning, meaning that you can actually break your filter. Trust me, I've seen it happen. So I'm gonna look in this video on yellow brownish water as well as pinkish water. Yes, it happens, pink water. So yellow water usually comes from wood in the aquarium. The wood will release its tannins. These are not bad for your fish. This is actually a sought out look for certain aquarists. If you're not one of those, as a precaution, you can boil your piece of wood beforehand, just on your oven, just boil up the water. Once the water is very brown, change the water. And do this a couple times until the water is clear. It'll never be 100% clear. I usually just do it until I get fed up of cooking wood. But keep in mind, if you have wood in your aquarium, you'll always have a little yellowish tint. If it really bothers you, well, don't throw out that piece of wood yet. You can use activated carbon. It will absorb the tannins. Activated carbon should be changed every month or otherwise, depending on the package's instructions. Every brand is different, right? Let's say you don't have wood in your aquarium, but the water is still yellowish. This usually is because of nitrates. Nitrates is basically water pollution, and the more you have, it tints your water yellow. So this means you have another problem, which means your fish are just swimming in poop. So make a good water change. So if you have a nitrate problem and you're doing regular weekly water changes, well, the usual culprit is always the same. You're feeding too much. So reassess how much you're feeding. Check in your family. Sometimes there's problems with communication. Fish are being fed way more times in the day than they should be. Yeah, this happened to me, so like, I'm not judging anyone. Once you've figured it out, just do what you have to do. A good water change, reassess your whole maintenance routine, talk with your family about feeding. In this scenario, it really depends on your personal experience. So pinkish water, what the heck is that? I don't have a video to show you about this. It usually happens in small tanks. When we overfeed with flake foods, most flake foods will leave a pinkish tint to the water if it's not eaten completely. So if you're overfeeding and the food just ends up going to the bottom and sort of rotting there, well, there's coloring as well that will go in the water and will turn it pinkish. If this is the case, do a good water change because fish probably need it. Siphon out the extra food and put an activated carbon in your filter to just get rid of all the colors. That's what activated carbon does. It gets rid of the colors, except for white cloudy water because that's more of a bacteria issue. So that's it for today. I've covered white cloudy water, debris, yellow and pink water. So whichever your problem, you probably found some troubleshooting tips in this video. If you have any experience with this that you would like to share, do it in the comment section. I love reading your comments. If you like this video, there is plenty more where that came from. Subscribe to the channel and make sure not to miss a single video. If you want more fishy content in between my videos, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a great website where you can shop online and see all the fish I have for sale. I own a local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec, that is right outside of Montreal. If you like this fabulous CICHLID GEEK t-shirt, you can get it on the Teespring store. Every shirt that you get encourages me to continue doing what I'm doing, having my YouTube channel, owning a local fish store, and all these fish-related projects in my life. So thank you to everyone who supports me week after week in my Teespring store, my YouTube channel, and my actual physical store in Terrebonne, Quebec. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.